Hi everyone, welcome back. Section 95 of Sambhava Parv continued. Janmejay said, O Brahmana, I have now heard from thee this great history of my ancestors. I had also heard from thee about the great monarchs that were born in this time. But I have not been gratified, this charming account being so short. Therefore, be pleased, O Brahmana, to recite the delightful narratives just in detail, commencing from Manu, the Lord of creation. Who is there that will not be charmed with such an account, as it is sacred? The fame of these monarchs, increased by their wisdom, virtue, accomplishments, and high character, hath so swelled as to cover the three worlds. Having listened to the history, sweet as nectar, of their liberality, prowess, physical strength, mental rigor, energy, and perseverance, I have not been satisfied and satiated. Vaishampayana said, Hear then, O monarch, as I recite in full the auspicious account of thy own race, just as I had heard it from Dwaipayan before. Daksha begat Aditi, and Aditi begat Vivasvat, and Vivasvat begat Manu, and Manu begat Ha, and Ha begat Pururavas, and Pururavas begat Ayus, and Ayus begat Nahusha, and Nahusha begat Yayati, and Yayati had two wives, that is, Devyani, the daughter of Usnas, and Sharmishta, the daughter of Vishwaparvan. Here occurs a slogan regarding Yayati's descendants. Devyani gave birth to Yadu and Turvasu, and Vishwaparvan's daughter Sharmishta gave birth to Druyuhu, Anu, and Puru. And the descendants of the Yadus are Yadavas, and Puru are Puruvas, and Puru had a wife by the name of Kaushalya, on whom he begat a son named Janmejay, who performed three horse sacrifice and the sacrifice called Viswajit. And then he entered into the woods. And Janmejay had married Ananta, the daughter of Madhava, and begat upon her a son called Pachinvat. And the prince was so called because he had conquered all the eastern countries up to the very confines of the regions where the sun resides. And Pachinvat married Askmaki, the daughter of the Yadavas, and begat upon her a son named Sanyati. And Sanyati married Varangi, the daughter of Drishtavata, and begat upon her a son named Ahayanti. And Ahayanti married Bhanumati, the daughter of Kritvirya, and begat upon her a son named Sarvabhauma. And Sarvabhauma married Sunanda, the daughter of Kekaya prince, having obtained her by force. And he begat her upon her a son named Jayatsena, who married Sur- Susurva, the daughter of Vidarbha king, and begat upon her Avachina. And Avachina also married another prince of Vidarbha, Mar- Maryada by name. And he begat on her a name Arihan. And Arihan married Angi and begat on her Mahabhanu. And Mahabhoma married Suyajana and the daughter of Prasanjit. And of her was born Ayutnyayi, and he was also called so because he had performed a sacrifice at which the fat of an Ayuta, 10,000 of males beings, was required. And Ayutyani took for a wife Kama, the daughter of Pritsusarvas, and by her was born a son named Akrodhana, who took for a wife Karambha, the daughter of the king of Kalinga, and of her was born Devatithi, and Devatithi took for his wife Maryada, the prince of Videha, and of her was born a son named Arihan, and Ariham took for a wife Sudeva, the princess of Anga, and upon her begat a son Riksha, and Riksha married Jwala, the daughter of Takshak, and he begat upon her son named Matinara, who performed on the banks of Saraswati the 12-year sacrifice called to be so efficacious. On conclusion of the sacrifice, Saraswati appeared in person before the king and chose him for husband, and he begat upon her a son named Tansu. Here occurs a shloka descriptive of Tansu's descendants. Tansu was born of Saraswati by Matinara, and Tansu himself begat a son named Elena on his wife, the princess Kalingi. Elena begat on his wife Ratnat, Ratnatari 5 sons, of whom Dushmanta was the eldest, and Dushmanta took for a wife Shakuntala, the daughter of Vishwamitra, and he begat on her a son named Bharata. Here occurs two shloka about Dushmanta's descendants. The mother is but the sheath of flesh in which the father begets the son. Indeed, the father himself is the son. Therefore, O Dushmanta, support thy son and not insult, not Shakuntala. Thy son and not insult Shakuntala. O God, amongst men, the father himself, becoming the son, rescueth himself from hell. Shakuntala had truly said that thou art the author of this child's being. It is for this, that is, because the king supported his child after hearing the above speech of the celestial messenger, that Shakuntala's son came to be called Bharata, the supporter. And Bharata married Sunanda, the daughter of Survasena, the king of Kashi, and begat upon her the son named Bhumanyu, and Bhumanyu married Vijaya, the daughter of Dasara, and he begat upon her a son Suhotra, who married Suvarna, the daughter of Ishvaku. To her was born a son named Hasti, who founded this city, which has therefore been called Hastinapur. And Hasti married Yashodhara, the princess of Trigatra, and of her was born a son named Vikunthana, Vikunthana, who took for a wife Sudeva, the princess of Dasara, and by her was born a son named Ajamida, and Ajamida had 4 wives named Regai, Gandhari, Vishala, and Riksha, and he begot upon them 2,400 sons. But amongst them all, Samvarna became the perpetuator of the dynasty, and Samvarna took for his wife Tapti, the daughter of Vivaswat, and of her was born Kuru, who married Shubhangi, the princess of Dasara, and begat on her the son named Viduratha, who took to wife Supriya, the daughter of the Madhavas, and he begat upon her a son named Anaswan. And Anaswan married Amrita, and the daughter of Madhavas, and of her was born a son named Parikshit, who took for his wife Suvasa and the daughter of Vahudas, and begat upon her a son named Bhimsena. And Bhimsena married Kumari, the princess of Kekaya, and begat upon her Pratisravras, whose son was Pratipa. And Pratipa married Sunanda, the daughter of Shivi, and begat upon her 3 sons, that is, Devapi, Shantanu, Valhika. And Devapi, while still a boy, entered the woods as a hermit, and Shantanu became king. Here occurs a shlok in respect of Shantanu. Those old men that were touched by this monarch not only felt an indescribable sensation of pleasure, but also became restoreth to youth. Therefore, this monarch was called Shantanu. And Shantanu married Ganga, who bore him a son, Devavrat, who was afterwards called Bhishma. And Bhishma, moved by the desire of doing good to his father, got him married to Satyavati, who was also called Gandhalik Kali, Gandhakali. And in her maidenhood, she had a son by Parashar named Dwaipayan. And upon her, Shantu begat two other sons named Chitragandha and Vichitravira. And before they attained to majority, Chitraga- Chitrangada had been slain by the Gandharvas. But Vichitravira became king and married two daughters of the king of Kashi named Ambika and Amvalika. But Vichitravira died childless. Then Satyavati began to think as to how the dynasty Dushmanta might be perpetuated. Then she recollected the rishi Dwaipayan. The latter, coming before her, asked, "What are thy commands?" She said, "Thy brother Vichitivira had gone to heavens childless. Beget virtuous children for him." Dwaipayan, consenting to this, begat three children, that is, Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidur. King Dhritarashtra had 100 sons by his wife Gandhari in consequence of the boon granted by Dwaipayan. And amongst those 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, four became celebrated. They were Duryodhan, Dushasan, Vikarna, and Chitrasen. And Pandu had two jewels of wives, that is Kunti, also called Pritha, and Madri. One day Pandu, while out hunting, saw a deer covering, covering its mate. That was really a rishi in the form of a deer. Seeing the deer in that attitude, he killed it with his arrow before its desire was gratified. Pierced with the king's arrow, the deer quickly changed its form and became a rishi and said unto Pandu, "O Pandu, thou art virtuous and acquainted also with the pleasure derived from the gratification of one's desire. My desire unsatisfied, thou hast slain me. Therefore, thou also, when so engaged and before thou art gratified, shan't die." Pandu, hearing this curse, became pale, and from that time solicited Kunti to have offsprings raised for him. And Kunti said, "Let it be." And so she raised up offsprings. By Dharma, she had Yudhishthir. By Maruta, Bhima. By Shakra, Arjun. And Pandu, well pleased with her, said, "This is thy co-wife, is also childless. Therefore, cause her also to bear children." Kunti saying, "So be it," imparted upon Madri the mantra of invocation. And on Madri were raised by the twins Ashwins, the twins Nakula and Sahadev. And one day Pandu, beholding Madri decked with ornaments, had his desire kindled. And as soon as he touched her, he died. Madri ascended the funeral pyre with her lord. And she said unto Kunti, "Let these twins of mine be brought up by thee with affection." After some time, those five Pandavas were taken by ascetics of the woods of Hastinapur and there introduced to Bhishma and Vidur. And after introducing them, the ascetics disappeared in the very sight of all. And after the conclusion of the speeches of those ascetics, flowers were showered down upon the spot, and the celestial drums were also beaten in the skies. The Pandavas were then taken by Bhishma. Then they represented death of their father and performed the last honors duly. As they were brought up there, Duryodhan became exceedingly jealous of them, and the sinful Duryodhan, acting like a Rakshasa, tried various means to drive them away. But what must be can never be frustrated. But what must be can never be frustrated. So all Duryodhana's effort proved futile. Then Dhritarashtra sent them by an act of deception to Branvat, and they went there willingly. There an endeavor was made to burn them to death, but it proved abortive owing to the warnings counsels of Vidura. And after that, Pandava slew Hidimva, and they were then in town called Ekachakra. They there also they slew a Rakshasa by the name of Vaka and then went to Panchala. And there obtaining Draupadi for a wife, they returned to Hastinapur. And there they dwelt for some time in peace and begat children. And Yudhishthira begat Prativindya, Bhishma, Sutasoma, Arjuna, Srut, Srutrakritri, Nakula, Satanika, and Sahadev Shrutkarman. Besides this, Yudhishthira, having obtained for his wife Devika, the goddess, the daughter of Govasana of the Shaurya tribe, in a self-choice ceremony begat upon her a son named Yahudeha, and Bhima also obtaining for a wife Valandhara, the daughter of the king of Kashi, offered his own prowess as doer and begat upon her a son named Sarvaga. And Arjun also repairing to Dwaravati brought away by force Subhadra, the sweet-speeched sister of Vasudev, and returned in happiness to Hastinapur. And he begat upon her a son named Abhimanyu, endowed with the accomplishments and dear to Vasudev himself. And Nakula, obtaining for his wife Karenumena Meti, the princess of Chedi, begat upon her son named Niramitra. And Sahadev also married Vijaya, the daughter of Dyutimat, the king of Madura, obtaining her as a self-choice in a self-choice ceremony, and begat upon her a son named Suhotra. And Bhimsena had some time before begat upon Himawat a son named Ghatotkach. These are the 11 sons of the Pandavas. Amongst them all, Abhimanyu was the perpetrator of the family. He married Uttara, the daughter of Virata, who brought forth a dead child whom Kunti took upon her lap in the command of Vasudev, who said, I will revive this child for 6 months. And though born before time, having been burned by the fire of Ashwasthama's weapon, and therefore deprived of strength and energy, he was revived by Vasudev and endued with strength, energy, and prowess. And after reviving him, Vasudev said, because this child had been born in an extinct race, before he shall therefore he shall be called Parikshit. And Parikshit married Madravati, thy mother, O king, and thou art born to her, O Janmejay. Thou hast also begotten 2 sons on thy wife Vashusthama, named Satanika and Sankukarna. And Satanika also has begotten one son named Ashwamedadatta upon the princess Videha. Thus have I, O king, recited the history of the descendants of Puru and of the Pandavas. This excellent, virtue increasing, and sacred history should ever be listened by vow observing Brahmanas, by Kshatriyas devoted to the practice of their order and ready to protect their subjects, by Vaishyas with attention, and by Shudras with reverence, those whose chief occupation is to wait upon the 3 other orders. Brahmanas conversant in the Vedas and other persons who, with attention and reverence, recite the sacred history or listen to it when recited, conquer the heavens and attain to the abode of the blessed. They are also always respected and adored by the gods, Brahmanas, and other men. This holy history of Bharata had been composed by the sacred and illustrious Vyasa, Ved knowing Brahmins and other persons who, with reverence and without malice, hear it recited, earn great religious merit and conquer the heavens. Though smiling, though sinning, they are not disregarded by anyone. Here occurs a shloka. This Bharata is equal unto the Vedas. It is holy and excellent. It bestoweth wealth, fame, and life. Therefore, it should be listened to by men with rapt attention. With this, we come to an end to this episode of Mahabharat. Until next time, this is your host, Madhulika Rajahan, signing off. Stay healthy always. Narayan, Narayan.